Alright guys, so I've been tuning this Arrow dual band antenna here, this kind of open J-pole design, for a little while now. I had to shorten this up a little bit for the 440 or the 70 centimeter side. 2 meter seems to work really good, but what I'm going to do is take this now. It's been rained on a bit. I had to shorten that, you can see. I just took the bolt out, or the nut off of it, and moved it down, and actually take a little bit more off the top with the grinder. But this is the Arrow open, I think it's an OSJ. It's basically an open J-pole design. So it doesn't work really good. I'm not as impressed as I thought I would be with it, especially on 70 centimeter. The SWR seems really high. So by shortening that leg, I was able to move the usable range up the band. I don't use the lower band of 70 centimeter because it's like low power work, and nobody really uses it, mainly just for repeaters. So I moved the resonating point higher in the band by shortening this leg. It doesn't affect the 2 meter side, so that was almost perfect. Quite a bit taller, as you can see. It's like I think that's like a 5/8 wave or something like that. And I'm going to mount this up in our attic. So that is going to be my project for today. This is the coax that I'm going to use. It's not your standard RG, what is it, RG58. This is LMR 400. So it's real high quality. It's really thick. As you can see, this is about 3/8 of an inch thick. It's the LMR 400 Flex. So it has a woven core. It's not a solid core. I guess the standard, the earlier version, was a solid core, and it was really hard to bend. This stuff is still pretty darn stiff. You aren't making 90-degree turns with this very easily. At least if you're fishing it around. When it's in your hands, and you can move it, like you can move this, but really what you need to do is run. If you're going to run like an HT on this, you're going to want to run a pigtail to it that's really flexible, because this stuff is just really stiff. Really easy to mount. Coax is a little loose, so let's tighten it up. Make sure that's really tight. And then that's it. You probably can't see it, but that J-pole I showed you outside is mounted right here. Vertical, I would say I'm about 2 feet from the center of the house, like the highest point. I have some of this stuff over here, which I don't know what this is made out of. I don't know if there's metal in there. If there's metal in there, that's going to be a problem, because it will screw up the SWR. So I may end up having to get like a 5-foot extension to this coax, but we'll try it and see. And maybe it's not a big deal. Don't know yet. I have to test it now. All right, so I already cut a hole in here for this box, and just a normal power box. It'll go right there. Old work style. Use my multi-tool to cut a perfect hole in there. That fits really good. The coax is just over here. It's just a little ways, kind of close to this, kind of laying on the bottom here. So I just got to fish that out of there. Plenty. All right. Didn't even need to hook that. It was right there. Okay. Looks like we got. There's our cable. We got some stuff around here, but let's see if we can set up this station real quick. Put the coax in, see how thick that stuff is. Really thick. I'm probably going to end up getting a pigtail for it, so it's just easier to maneuver this last little bit here. But you can do it. If you've ever wondered what LMR 400 looks like, that's the stuff. It's really beefy. I'm going to hook that to my SWR meter first. Right here. Antenna. Let's plug that into the antenna side. We're just going to do some quick tests, and then you want to get a pigtail. Let's see how small that is. That'd probably be pretty good to do. Put that on there. Okay, we got got that hooked up. What's interesting is when I was outside and I had this thing set up, my SWRs were really high on the 70 centimeter side and acceptable on almost all the 2 meter side. But now when I'm set up here, however this is, maybe it's just different or whatever, but the 70 centimeter side looks really good overall. It looks like it did exactly what I wanted it to do and resonated in the repeater frequency range where all the repeaters are in this area. There's a few high spots. It kind of does, you know, it kind of goes up and down, but it stays under, you know, about 1.5, which is really good. 1 to 1.5. However, the 2 meter side is really high. I mean, I'm having trouble keeping it under, you know, it's 1.97 on, you know, one of these local repeaters. So I don't really know what's going on with that. That's shocking. Well, sort of shocking. I mean, it is what it is. You just have to set it up and test it. Here's the J pole that I put up there. It's okay. It's not great. Scan. KF7J. ASM. Yeah, I bumped up the power to full power here. Does that give any better signal?
Well, you have almost no hiss. Probably what I consider like around 10% hiss or less.
Good.
Mostly audio. But there's a bit of multipath, which you should be hearing on the receive also. You should be hearing a little bit of a kind of a garble sound.
That's affirmative. Copy that. Yeah, I do. I'm probably on the fringes of this thing. I am running just kind of one of those open J-pole designs. It's nothing fancy.
Well, hope you have fun with it. Our claim to fame around here, we have a 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock nets on the weekdays. And a Saturday night swap net at 7 o'clock. So you might put those down on your calendar, and if your times match up, drop in. Have a nice day. Looks like it's a kind of an unusual August day. W7.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you too. You have a good day. I'm gonna get out here and shut this thing down. But nice talking to you, and I'll drop in. KF773.
KF7 testing. Test. KF7 testing at work. KF7 50 watts.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some fuzz like with your voice, but I could hear you really clear, like I could understand everything you said.
KF7J 25 watts testing. KF7J.
Yeah, it was almost the same. Just a tiny bit fuzzier maybe.